Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Welcome to the Roxy Files, everybody. I see we already got a few in the room. We got Clayton, Biggie, and Carol. How's everybody doing this evening? How are you, Shannon?
I am okay. I had a purge session unwillingly last night, so I'm a bit weak and tired, but I'm here.
Yay! We've been off schedule due to the fake Christmas holiday. We all got roped into participating in one way or another over the past week. And now we have another fake holiday coming up tomorrow night. So happy fake New Year's to you, Shannon.
Happy fake New Year's. Yes. Yep. Oh,
Yeah, all holidays
real
seem to
New
be contrived anymore when you sit down and really think about them.
Yep.
Hey, Mike. Mike is in the house.
Yay, Mike.
Well, tonight, everybody, we're going to talk a little bit about RH negative, as we kind of usually do. And Shannon and I have been back and forth on the phone all afternoon, just having conversation. Um, And so we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of just current events and everything else. Ingersoll Lockwood, some new rabbit holes, some new information on that Iverschmectin that we talk about so much.
Mhm.
Might even get into King Og. We'll see. Let's see. Clayton, it's been a very heavy day. Demon trying to shove every convincing occult stuff in my face. Just pray on it, brother. Pray on it. Just keep praying and rebuking it, and it shall not bother you.
Amen.
Nothing new in the dead of winter. Well, we're having a colder day here today. It's 40ish outside, which is kind of chilly because all through the holiday we had 70-degree weather. It felt like it was early fall around here. It's kind of strange. Flowers blooming, lots of weird things.
It's just been weird and foggy here.
It was
On and
gray
off.
here. Yeah, it was gray here one day. It was just like a ugh. Just didn't want to go out the house. All right, computer, you shall behave. Um, one of the things I've been busy and you only had so much time to research, but I'm still looking for the anomalies in the RH negative bloodline. Couple of things I've come across. Okay, we know that scientifically, if a woman is going to have a child and she's negative, she needs a ROGAM shot, which is the one to avoid her body terminating the pregnancy. Prior to the ROGAM shot, that woman would be able to have one kid. Any subsequent pregnancy would try to automatically terminate before week 29. Then they come up with the ROGAM shot. And they said, I can't remember what years it was, but previous to the ROGAM shot, tens of thousands of babies were lost because of this blood disorder that it causes. It's not a blood disorder. It's one body trying to get rid of what it sees as a parasite or an infection. But you get one kid.
Do you know what is in the Rogam shot?
Um,
Which, by the way, I have, not to change the subject in any way, shape, or form, but I do have the official contents of what was in that pink drink. And I will send those screenshots to you later. Before I forget, I just thought I'd mention
okay. Let's see if we can find the ingredients because I got to looking up the doctor today that this is so sad I can't spell ingredients. Uh, primary active ingredient in the Rogam brand is RHO Rho immune globulin human, which consists of immunoglobulin G antibody sourced from human plasma in a
it.
sterile solution, no thimerosal, and added to, you're basically getting an injection of somebody else's plasma.
Interesting. Because, I will say, how there's the blood transfusion game out here, but they do have
Uh-huh.
it in other countries. But what's interesting is it's only really America that does the plasma um, donations. You know what I mean? Like that people go in and donate plasma for money. I guess it's not really donating if you're getting compensation for it, but the world gets most of the plasma from us. I know a lot of people who
Yeah, it's big
do that.
money.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who
And
go
I
in.
and I wonder actually how many moms would be okay if they knew they were actually just getting a shot of somebody else's plasma.
Right?
Like, if you're in a situation where you're pregnant, you don't wanna lose your child, I get that, but if you knew that was a risk before you got pregnant, would it change it? And then by somehow of definition of getting an injection of another human's plasma, have you then again altered DNA structure?
Right.
Because it's doing something to the mom because she doesn't abort the baby.
And does that affect the baby's DNA as
Right,
well as the mother?
right. Because we've had the conversation before about multiple baby daddies
Mhm.
or multiple partners, and that anytime you have physical contact with another person, whether it be holding hands and you're just sweating or you're kissing or you're wrestling, as we call it on here, coloring in the coloring book, body fluid transfer means DNA transfer. So, and DNA transfer causes DNA mutation or genetic changes in the other person. I was telling Shannon today, I was looking up, it was a Freedom of Information Act thing I ran across because I ran across some stuff that it was studies of where they put, we talk about the telepathy tapes on here and how some of these children have telepathic powers. And I think we've possibly all got them. We just have to learn how to access them. They've fluorided us to death and soft metals and everything else and killed it. But if you put a group of people in the same room with the same blood type, particularly B negative, seemed to be the easiest one. But once they got more than, one person in the room, two people, they could subliminally suggest to them things as like a hive mind and they could control them without them even knowing it. And for some reason, B negative seemed to be the one that was like the weakest link.
The most susceptible.
Yeah, I don't know what, and there's no studies out there, which we know there's studies, but we're not going to find them. There's nowhere to go look for this stuff on the internet. And you know as well as I know that they're tracking everything about our life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is.
Information is key to their power.
Does anybody out there understand how they rate a life insurance policy for you? Like a good life insurance policy where they're gonna, they really want to know who you are, or you sign off to give them access to your medical records.
Hmm.
The biggest data collector on the globe, bar none, are the insurance companies for life insurance. Their database has been so sophisticated for so long that when you're in this new healthcare system we got and everything's smart and everything talks to everything else, they know that you are Jane Doe and at 12 years old you broke a bone, that as a female you started menstruating when you were 13, that you've had, mono and you've had the flu twice and 12 vaccinations. They know your medical history. But not only do they know your medical history, they know every other Jane Doe out there, and they cross reference the things that have happened to you or your health issues compared with theirs, and they project your date of death. And to my understanding, unless there is an accident, you know, natural death, they can predict it within 6 months. That's how they rate your life insurance policy.
Wow.
That's why accidental death pays a higher indemnity, because the regular one, that's the long bet for them. They know health wise what's going to happen to you because they've been tracking you for the first 30, 35 years of your life until you decided to get life insurance. And I don't know, we can't go down the life insurance thing because that'll drive me insane, but we ain't got enough time for that salt box to stand on. Anyway, we started on the Rogam shot, but they know exactly what they're doing, and this testing is out there, but we can't find the scientific papers on it. It says the other contents of this, Shannon, is an ultra filtered plus formulation of Rogam is sodium chloride, polysorbate 80, and glycine, along with trace amounts of human samples of immunoglobulin. So,
Huh.
when is the last time you've ever seen a doctor come in the room and say, okay, we need to give you this shot, and here are the ingredients, and here are your risks, and this is where this medicine was derived from, a plant, another human,
They don't know.
or
They don't even,
ever.
half of them don't even know what a material data sheet is,
No,
or material safety data sheet. Sorry.
they're not taught that because as any type of professional, and I take this from the car business, you're trained in the car business that simple questions, if you'll not answer them and say, well, let me go find out and I'll get back to you. If it's a small question, normally the customer will never ask again because they'll think they're bothering.
Yep.
Hmm. They won't ask again. They don't want to be a bother or be rude or feel like they're bugging you about it. They depend on that. They depend on you giving up easily. Okay. And this kind of, I guess the road game shot actually took us where we needed to go in this conversation. I noticed today that, let's see, I noticed today, be nice, computer. The Ingersoll Lockwood website changed, which it has not done for a little while. Um, I think the last time we looked at it, it actually had this quote here, but there was something here about rest in peace, CK for Charlie Kirk, and then it was a contest for the Rainsaver books. Now it's a white rabbit, and there's something below it. What is the
What?
human adenovirus, and could it be bioengineered? The looking glass is a, and that's a link, mi dot 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 r, which we know is mirror, but the O and the R are missing. One of them takes you to this. It is a Canadian document on the adenovirus and how they use it to develop vaccines against biological warfare. But Shannon and I were looking at this a while ago because we hadn't had time to read it before. And part of it's in French, part of it's in English. When was this one from, Shannon? 2004 or 2020?
2000, I think. I'm not sure
Four.
if I remember if this. Oh, yeah. The other
Yeah,
one's.
this one's 2004. And it basically explains to you how they take this adenovirus and can affect DNA and use it in a variety of mammals and avian species, to make vaccines and to alter your DNA, etc., etc., etc. So the other link then takes you to this, which is a document from 2020. Imagine that, 2020.
Mhm.
And it's about ivermectin. And it tells you that ivermectin will fight that. And then it goes on in here to tell you about how it is an FDA approved antiparasitic agent and it has a broad antiviral activity. So not
Mhm.
only does it kill parasites, it kills viruses.
Yes. And I tell you, it will. Your body will reject it immediately. In my in, in my experience.
I've never seen anything that came up on this site that you took the time to find that wasn't important. And guys, I'm leading you to it. Like I said, Shannon and I have not had the time to tear it apart. I don't know if you've ever seen this website, but if you haven't, I'll give you a tour of how it works. There are links hidden all over this page to documents. Some of these links are sitting right in your face and you don't see them because you have to click and drag. And as you'll see right there, see the three dots? If you click on that, it will take you somewhere. And some of this stuff is just like a link to actual Space Force. But when you come down here and you'll see, let's see, let me upsize this a little bit. When you're, of course, this is Small Business Administration, DARPA, Homeland Security, NASA, NSA, Space Force, but etc. ET lights up. Then the C lights up. Then the period lights up. Every single one of them takes you somewhere. And this goes everywhere from sealed case files against officials to all kinds of stuff. And up at the top, there are different tabs you can go up under. In the library, you will find all of the Ingersoll Lockwood books. Um, there's a couple of things up under there. The Book of Enoch seems to be very, very important on its website. But anyway, we ain't come here to talk about Ingersoll Lockwood, but that's some interesting stuff to go look at what it is. Somebody was asking something.
I was gonna
Go ahead, Shannon.
mention that I have a very good relationship with a lot of the staff at Vaughn's by me because I'm in there all the time, you know. But one of the ladies there, she's right on the level with all of us, and we've had a lot of these talks several times, and she's given me great advice, you know, before I actually accepted it for Roxy and some others. But I was having a conversation with her about how we discussed this on this show, and she was just like, you gotta be careful, you know, people end up unalived. And I'm like, wow, you know, even my grocer knows like how intense this whole subject matter is on the world stage. So, you know, we want to make sure and give you the truth and the best information possible, despite the possibilities of where that puts us on lists and such, because we really don't care, anyways. But you know,
We know
it's
we're
one
on all of them
hot
anyway.
topics to where even this, you know, Ingersoll Lockwood website has to hide it in secrecy and little Easter eggs in there.
Mm-hmm. And you got to go through three steps to figure it out. But I think anybody that is a has been awakened with us understands that the easy stuff isn't the answer. You got to go hunt it anyway.
Every time.
Every time. Everything is not an easy answer. Sunflower, yes. They used to test blood before marriage. I mean, I looked that up today. They claimed that was because of the rash outbreaks of syphilis in like the 30s, 40s, 50s in that era. They claim it wasn't to track blood types, but that it was to track STDs
Oh,
is
you
what they
mean?
were looking for in the blood.
Oh, you mean like the syphilis that was given to people through the sticky
Yes.
puppies? Yeah, that's funny.
I actually had a great grandmother, I think it was. Maybe it was a great grandmother that died of that. Now we talking probably back in the 30s, maybe. I don't know how or where she got it or what was going on, but I know she had like a buttload of children, and the husband ends up remarrying, and then he died, or my great granddad, he ended up dying again later. But it was my grandma's parents, and she was born in 29. So we talking about early 1900s because
Right.
she was a small child when all this happened. So yeah, early 30s. But evidently it was syphilis was pretty everywhere back then.
Right. I hear it made a lot of rounds in the royal circles. So,
Uh huh. I've been watching this show on Netflix. It's Victoria talking about Queen Victoria. And man, they ain't no wonder they was all wrestling with each other. Like, and they acting like they're not wrestling and y'all all wrestling. What is the deal? It tells you in the Bible, one person. Not one today and one tomorrow. It just means one. One at a time. Everybody's greedy.
I believe it all stems from, pagan ritual nonsense from the ages.
Well, and even our children, when we talk about this a lot of times, the the constant barrage of sexuality that's pushed in their faces,
Oh,
even
yeah.
at young ages. Like, why do 7, 8, and 9 year olds need a show talking about boyfriends and girlfriends and he likes me and he doesn't like me? Why can't they just be kids, man? Mine's out there digging crawfish out the pond, knee deep in the pond, digging crawfish instead of in here watching this crap now. But it took us a minute to get there. I don't think other parents are seeing it.
It's because it's the destruction of innocence. That's what evil feeds off of it so much. And kind of to bring it to this topic about the RH negative and the genetics, and I mean, this is the main issue, biblically speaking, that we've had since, like, I would even suggest the Garden of Eden, that the messing with genetics, the messing with God's creation, original creation, from the pride of the fallen, is what has been like it. This is the war. It is the war against God's creation, our genetics, since day one. And it's like nothing new under the sun. And so now they're not only changing our genetics to such a way, they're adding in technology, which all goes and stems off of, Daniel's interpretation of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, of the miry clay being mixed with the iron. I mean, that's what it is. And you look up the patents on the pokey thing and realize that you who have taken it, not you necessarily, our audience, because I don't think there are any of you guys out there, but now those who have it are now no longer human. They are considered non-human, something else like a cyborg, and they are patented. So that is in itself, it's just telling you this war on genetics. It's such a big topic. It's such a thing that a huge flood even was caused because of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and see, I've started, I don't know, I've always been, because I am RH negative, I've always been fascinated with it here for the past couple of years. And I keep finding these weird anomalies with it. And if you look at, all right, our blood types, there's O, A, B, and AB. If you look at the physical structure of them, on a O, it's just a blood cell. I wish I had the drawing that the guy did this morning, but just imagine a circle. That's, your O.
Mhm.
Well, your A blood type is the same circle, but it's got a certain amount of little triangles around the outside of it. Well, B is the same way. It has a different, shape of little things around it. The AB is a combination of the little fuzz on the outside of the A and the B. Simple. You know what I mean? You're mixing it.
So O doesn't have any of the
O
little.
doesn't have any. And O negative is lacking all of the changes of the others.
Interesting.
That O seems to predecess the A, the B, or the AB.
So that's why I was saying, like before, I feel like the O bloodline, just in general, whether it's positive or negative, has a lot of anomalies that are similar.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of anomalies. And even see when I went further and started, you start seeing stuff on the side about A or B or AB or whatever. And there are certain anomalies that happen with each blood type. And I know they're all the time trying to divide us by black, white, red, blue, green, yellow, up, down, left, right. But there are genetic, which is where it all began, God's creation. There are genetic differences between blood types, and the weird anomalies tend to stick out more when you find people who are more aware of them. Like, I found out that Rh negative almost never ever have twins, triplets, quads, anything like that. You know, the first baby will be fine. You don't need a ROGAM shot with it. But even if there is a second child in the womb, it will abort one of the fetuses and keep one.
Interesting.
That is not a simple genetic. I mean, think about the complexity of how that system would work. That a woman's body is, if you're Rh negative, previous ROGAM shot, you get one baby. One. Doesn't matter if it's girl or boy, you're going to get one. The second one will abort, even if it is a duplicate pregnancy. If you got identical twins, it would still get rid of one of them. So why would it see an identical twin as something it needed to destroy to get rid of, as like an infection, which is what it claims it does with the others? It causes this hemolytic blood thing. Why would it do it to identical twins in the womb? Why would it select it down to one? See,
Hmm.
that doesn't make sense unless there's something supernatural about it. That there is a genetic reason that you only get one. See, my grandma told me when I was 16, I didn't understand it. My dad's mom evidently knew way more than I ever thought that little woman ever knew. Like some of the crazy things she said back then, I look like that emoji I sent you last night, like slapping my forehead. I think about what my grandma said. Every time I'm like, ugh. Well, the she said you get one. I didn't understand what she meant. She said you get one kid, make it count. I didn't understand. Now I do, because the second one tried to friends forever. My twin and I are Rh negative and we're identical. But what is your mother's blood type? It's not your blood
Nice.
type. It would have been the mother, the carrier. That could have come from elsewhere. So what were your two parental blood types? That may be how that one happened. But this is dealing with Rh negative mothers.
I do find it very fascinating that the medical system keeps such like they're such gatekeepers with your blood type,
Everything.
but especially your blood type. It's like I know you have to know what it is to get surgery or things along those lines, but trying to get it from them is just absolutely insane. It's like,
Oh
well,
yeah,
you
you
got
got to go in and sign medical release documents to get your
I'm
own
a
blood type.
bull. Right. And I'm like, bull, I know you have it in your system and your records. Like, I know you do, but you're going to make me look it up in some document. I don't even know where it is, but whatever. They're total gatekeepers with that. And it's so hush hush. Like, even your own doctor can't even look it up and know what it is, supposedly. That's weird.
Well, like after my dad passed, when I think this is when I started figuring out the blood type and how it transfers, things of that nature. Um, I wanted to get his blood type, but he was already deceased. I was gonna have to get my mom to get a copy of the death certificate and drive down an hour away to the hospital, which he did not even pass away at. This was just where he had had a surgery at. But because he was deceased, it was like an act of Congress to get his blood type. Okay, so
Wow.
you had two Rh negatives, a mom and a dad that was negative. That may have been your twin exception.
That is something interesting to note and
Hmm.
to try to research.
Trust me, I'm putting it in my notes as we speak. And
Like,
if y'all
come
don't
on.
believe me, look. See, I'm on my notes page. As we be talking over nighttime, guys, this is what I'm doing over here. I'm taking notes. Like the different things that we discover. All right. I've discovered that the actual blood of an Rh negative person tends to have a higher copper content, that they tend to always have low magnesium when blood work is done. Another fine tip, when you go to your regular doctor, if you go to a doctor anymore, and they draw blood once a month, once every or once a year, whatever, make sure they're doing a full panel. If not, they're going to do like the easy peasy cheap thing. And all it's going to do is be like the whipped cream on top of Starbucks because you're not getting no real information out of that.
Mhm.
I have found an independent company, which actually does lab testing. You have to pay cash for it. I don't think your insurance will cover it. But it's called anylabtest.com or anylabtestnow.com. They're kind of all over the country. They're like independent labs. You don't need a prescription. You don't need nothing. They got a whole menu. You want to go in and look at what your thyroid numbers are, you go in, you pay them, they run your blood work and give you your results. They'll do whole biological studies if you want them without any doctor intervention. You get your results. I'm telling you, I watched my 32-year-old niece take artificial intelligence and make 6 different cancer doctors look like an idiot
Mhm.
with just her medical test. Sorry, I was thirsting to death there, guys. Um, Autoimmune disorders. Rh negative people tend to have a higher elevation of autoimmune disorders, but Rh negative people evidently have an extremely small chance, very small chance of contracting HIV. Like it just, our body just like, nope, not happening. I think it's hepatitis, HIV, and something else, which we may need to look at the chemical makeup and who and how those were made. Because we now know that, uh, what do we call him on the lexicon? Um, Smouchy? Yeah. That
uh,
he created the HIV, that he was
fascination.
in on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fast.
Smouchy, I reckon. I don't know. You got to use everything on a lexicon. AI hears it on here. Boop, community violation.
I'm gonna
We've already
call
got
him
enough of those, Shannon.
Fausty because he made a pact with that guy,
Hmm.
Faust. Of course,
Yeah.
if you know anything about Faust, I don't know, but it's just another story of Satan, and selling your soul. That's all. So, Fausty, I think it's perfect.
Well, and I think it is so cool as we're all kind of going through this together. I mean, I know we're all. Hey, Dave. Good evening. We're all kind of becoming awake together and seeing all of this stuff and understanding that everything they've ever told us is a lie, and that the fairy tales that they told us were make believe are more true than what they told us the truth was.
Right? Kind of like King Og and all
Mhm.
of that stuff. See, like now that you've started to kind of read into it, now you can maybe see where I'm obsessed with giants and that whole storyline.
Mhm. Oh, the dragon. A
Yes.
dragon has been found. In
Officially.
officially 9/19, 2019, in Alberta, Canada, the largest ever flying, what did they call it? Aviary species was found with a wingspan of 33 feet and would have been approximately 13 foot tall with a long tail. They found a dragon. They found a dragon. I told y'all dinosaurs were dragons. Nobody believes me. Oh,
Nice.
you know what? That kid of mine that looks at me like got horns growing out my head when I tell her that. Wait till I send this to her.
Ah!
Told you they were dragons.
Oh
But
man, I don't know. Like a while back ago, I want to say it was probably like 2006, 2007. I think it was National Geographics or TLC or one of those. They literally did this whole mockumentary of finding a dragon and had all the specs and made it so real. And they didn't let you know it was a mockumentary, and I was so stoked. I sent it to my dad. I was like, it's real, it's real. And then we all find out no, they totally pulled a fast one on us on mainstream TV. So
yeah,
yeah, it's messed up,
I've got any more where I see some of this stuff. I'm like, nah, I got to go look at it from 4 or 5 different sources. Who said it? Why'd you say it?
right?
I don't trust anything anymore.
The dragons are real. They're real.
Dragons are real. All day, every day. And don't know if we currently got any. Might be some hiding, some down there. Let's just hope that this thing don't come alive from the ice. You know, because that could be a bad day. That would be one nasty mosquito coming at you. Is all I can say. I've seen some big ones here, but I think that would outweigh the mosquitoes around here.
Remember like a while back ago when I had found out there was this volcano that had all these like hundreds and hundreds of eggs that are about to hatch or something surrounding it.
Yeah.
And you found out that they were some kind of, what is it, like I don't know, some kind of tentacle being. But the first thing that I thought of in my mind was it's a bunch of dragons. Like it's like
Ain't
we're
it?
going to have an invasion of dragons coming out of the sea from the volcano. But I think
Oh,
that's
white shark eggs. That's what they were.
that's what it is. I still call it shenanigans. I think they're dragons.
Ain't it? No, this was. Hang on. I can do screen share again so everybody can see. This critter over here is, well, of course, it's going to size it down now. But this type of creature, which to Shannon and I, we kind of decided looked like a pterodactyl, but it
Yeah.
would be on a much larger scale, which is kind of what that one looks like from that movie, a pterodactyl. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones, Shannon?
I didn't. I saw a few clips of some episodes, but I know the storylines, of course, but I never watched it.
Well, I've watched the TV show Supernatural. Used to be one of my favorite shows. I've probably seen it front to back 10 times. There's like 13 seasons. Like I can sit there and speak the episodes. I used to watch it so much.
That's me in Home Improvement.
Yeah, we watch a lot of Home Improvement when we go to sleep around here. That or Last Man Standing.
Love Tim Allen.
I love Tim Allen. If you listen, Tim, we love you.
We love
Anyway,
you.
we love you, Tim.
Even though you played Satan Claus, we still love you.
Yes, but he has a newfound love of Christ that he's being very verbal about out on the internet.
Go Tim.
But when I was watching that TV show Supernatural for a long time, it talked about jinn and werewolves and vampires and shapeshifters and all these different creatures. Well, as a child, the concept that I always had was there was good and there was bad. There were no such things as elves and fairies and creatures and dragons and unicorns and giants, and that stuff was just crazy. It was made up. It was comic books. It was what you saw in the movie. Well, we know that whatever they told us, that was the lie, and the opposite is the truth.
Well, you see, me growing up was the exact opposite. I've always believed, I have always known. Always.
See, I was a comic book nut growing up. Like And it wasn't necessarily the characters. I was a reader. And I knew, which I lived with my grandparents, limited income. We only went to town one time a month. And when you went, we always went to the drugstore. The only thing they had at the drugstore was a comic book rack. Less than a buck. I could get a couple of comic books, something to read. And I loved comic books back then. Well, then when I got older, I was hooked on, all of these movies and Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America and Wonder Woman and Superman. I just loved the comic books for the fantasy side of it. But the more you think about it, it was just reality with pretty costumes on.
Yep.
Hmm. And the
One.
more I watch Supernatural and the more I pay attention to that show, because I've now started going back and looking at, like, if there's a particular archon or demon type that I'm looking up, like a vampire or a werewolf or whatever, I will actually go back and watch that episode and see what I can pick up on, because it's truth in plain sight.
It's fascinating since you bring up vampires. It's kind of one of those things I obsessed over a lot, in my teenage years. Like I mentioned before, I was like super gothy and into all that stuff. And of course, I grew up in the era of the interview with the vampire, not with a vampire. I don't care what you all say, Mandela people, anyways. But, you know, it was always fascinating to me how in the past history, how people like dealt with who they really thought were vampires, the contraptions they would make and
Oh yeah.
the graves and all of the lore that went with like how you actually can, take out a vampire and all of these things. And it was so insane and ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, poor Willie sometimes. Y'all, everybody needs to say a prayer. Say a prayer for that man. He has to put up with me. He went out there for Christmas and like busted his hump to get my greenhouse going, or I should say our greenhouse, because that's a me and him thing now. But like this building was completely engulfed in kudzu vines. I'm talking about some of them as big around as your forearm. This man took a tree and a rope and a pressure washer and a pitchfork and a hoe, and he went to work. And I will post a video of what the greenhouse looks like now. We have electricity, we have everything. We fix to start playing. He's fixing to install heat.
yeah.
But the drop cord he ran for me to have power in the greenhouse at the moment, I was scared of somebody tripping over it. And there was like one of those bamboo front door mats.
Hmm.
Um, yes, give me just a minute, Tennessee, and I'll give you that information. I laid it down, but on this mat it says welcome. I no longer believe in having welcome mats out. So he's sitting there looking at me, and I walk over there to the shelf and I get a can of black spray paint, and right above where it says welcome, I wrote not. He's like, "What are you doing?" So then I had to go into like, "I'm not inviting no demons up in my greenhouse. Get up in here messing my plants up." He's like, "Woman, what are you talking about?" So then we had to get in this whole conversation, but you can't have welcome mats out, folks.
Right.
Yeah, take them up. Take them up. Don't be welcoming anybody or everybody into your home. You bless your home.
You
And you,
can't let vampires in unless, well, they can't come in unless you invite them. I was trying to say that.
well, that's what we've been told, but who's to say that's the truth, Shannon?
I'm just saying that's what they tell you. I
That's what
mean,
they told us. See, that's the whole problem. They told us that. See, there we go again, Shannon. They told us. We've already learned we can't listen to that.
I know. Well, inviting can be in ways that maybe people don't
Absolutely.
realize. That's kind of like the point is like, you can't, setting out a welcome mat is literally like, hi, come on
Anybody
in.
can come in.
Yeah.
Come on in. Bring your dark yuckiness with you. No, I took not in black spray paint. I'll post a picture of it. I wrote not welcome right on top of my mat. I have not iron staked the ground here yet. That's the only thing I've not done. The house has been blessed. Daniel blessed it. Um, and I was given the prayer by a special person. And Daniel blessed the house when we first moved in. And the only thing I've not done is iron staked the property, but it will be done. So we're
What
gonna
does
have an
that do
operational
specific?
greenhouse ASAP.
What does that do specifically?
Iron staking it is supposed to help keep dark. It's like a protection bubble around your house.
I was always under the assumption it had something to do with protecting you from lightning strikes.
Mm-mm. No, no, no. You're not driving these down deep. You're
I
just putting iron on all four corners of your property. You're building your own
got you. That makes sense.
firmament from evil.
See, this is the bummer of living in Stepford wife hell. Excuse my language, but that's how I feel. Like I live in an HOA. And don't get me wrong, look, it's been such a blessing to raise my children in this place. And our situation was a blessing in so much of that. And I'm definitely not knocking any of that. But it is not, I am such an outsider in this space. And there is just like nothing you can do. You actually have to ask permission from each and every one of your neighbors, even if you want to build an awning in your backyard. And it's like, really? You know what I mean?
I get
So,
it.
I mean,
I
I'm not
think
in an
I'm
apartment, so I should be, thankful for that. But that stuff is limited for people in our situation.
Yeah, see, I've always grown up in the country. And that last place I was in, that's like the closest neighbors I've ever had in my life. Or like I didn't live out on a farm or out in the country. Or like the only neighbor I saw was probably babysitting me when I was a small child. That
Man,
last place was unique for me because like where you live at in a subdivision, no, I wouldn't last 2 weeks. I would look like Fiona in Shameless when they started talking smack about my baby's lemonade stand now. Because I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work. I'm gonna jump a fence. Don't tell me to move my trash can. I don't bother you. Don't bother me.
you don't even know. I mean, I was born in the city. I was born in San Bernardino, girl. San Bernardino. But yeah, I've been a city girl my entire life. I've gotten to see rural areas and I've visited them. But I have longed for this all my life. Maybe by the ocean, though. Just saying.
Well, see, I've lived by the ocean my whole life, and I've probably been to the actual ocean 3 times in 10 years.
Oh, really? I'm an hour and a half away, and I literally could just live on the beach. I would be the happiest ever. I'll fall asleep to the sound of the
I can't do the traffic and the tourist because we're in a very touristy area, and the
Mm.
traffic, I can't do it. I don't have the patience for Karen and her mob of middle-aged women. I can't do jail time over a spot at the beach to get some sunshine when I can get it in my yard.
I know we've gotten so off topic, but I really do feel so bad for women named Karen who do not possess these traits.
We call him Judy. I mean, I got a sister. We call it Judy. Yeah, I'm talking
Yes.
about you, heifer. You a Karen too, Judy?
But
Anyway,
universally, everyone knows when you say Karen that
yes.
everyone knows.
I don't mean any particular Karen. That
No,
I'm
I
just
know.
using that on my lexicon to
Oh, for
talk about
sure.
the woman who has absolutely nothing else going on in her life except worrying about what her neighbors is doing.
I just wonder if there was a real lady named Karen that
Oh,
decided
absolutely. And she was
everyone
a
is
politician
named.
in the state of Washington and got upset when she pulled up on the state trooper who was fixing to take her son to jail. That is where Karen comes from.
So there is lore. I did not know this. See, there's
Uh-huh.
something
She
new.
pulls up, I've seen the video. She pulls up on the state trooper like, "You don't know who I am. You don't know who I'm messing with." I can't remember. She was like a prosecutor or something. I'm Karen, and that's where Karen come from.
Well, on behalf of all Karens everywhere, that is not this lady. I'm sorry that your name has been turned into such a nightmare, but I hope you all at least can get a good laugh out of it and not take it too seriously.
Yeah, we're just laughing, folks. We're just picking on subdivisions. Everybody can't mind their own business. Tennessee, you've had COVID since Christmas Eve. Tennessee, have you taken your ivermectin? Have you taken any type of anything to help purge your body of whatever it may have come in contact with? And just because that's what they say it is, don't trust that. Don't
Mhm.
trust it.
Oh yeah, that was another thing my clerk friend had asked me. Where did you get your stuff? And I explained, and she said, "Okay, good." And I was like, "Oh, so you
Yeah,
know too?"
you have to be careful with who is making the version that you get because there are some people that are saying that there are altered versions and it possibly has nanotechnology.
If you
And
find it on Amazon, and it is in fancy packaging that looks like they went real super fancy and organic to try and get you as a human to get it, then you should question everything.
absolutely. I get mine at Tractor Supply. Mine has a horse on it. It's
Exactly.
horse
They,
dewormer.
they don't care about nanoizing. Well,
No.
you know what I mean.
If
The
Trigger can eat it, so can I. Me and Trigger took mine day before yesterday. I got to take another dose tomorrow.
Unless they are, and that's just wrong on so many levels.
There's so many
I mean,
levels of
of
what's
course,
wrong. There's so many levels of what's wrong with this whole thing that we talk about. I know it can be a depressing subject sometimes when you think about how many lies we've been told, how much horror there actually is out there. But the only way we change that is with light, love, and positivity.
and Jesus.
Yes, we have to be the one to spread the love that he tried to show us to have for ourselves and for each other. I got another note from a DoorDash driver today, Shanna.
What? A note from a door.
Note, we have been
Oh,
getting
the posty notes that say
the
things
postie note,
nice.
same driver, and she must put them on everybody's order. The
Oh,
one she sent last week was like, remember you're stronger than you were yesterday. Today's was, in case you've not heard this recently, you are amazing. Never underestimate your value to the rest of the world. Your DoorDasher.
oh.
So I want to
Thank
challenge
you, Lord.
everybody that's listening right now or will listen in the future, you as well, Shannon, and myself. If you got a notepad, if you got post it notes, I want you to take some of those. Write generic positive statements. Have a great day. You're amazing. Um, the world's a better place with you in it. Things like that. Pre-write them. Get you a stack of post-it notes and write on there. You don't have to sign your name. Just put the world's a better place with you in it and draw a smiley face. Flip up the next post-it note. Write another nice note.
Actually,
Anything.
you could say from children of the Most High.
There you go.
Sign it as
And
sign it.
pass it out to a stranger. I try to tell everybody when you're going in the store, hold the door for somebody. If you see somebody else in there, I like your purse, nice shoes, cute outfit, anything to make them understand that you recognize them, that you see them, that they are valued and important, and that they had value in this world and they didn't give you anything for it. Because a lot of times I think we lose sight of our value to other people, as bonds break, as some people become awake and some are not. I know a lot of our viewers have said they felt isolated or lonely, and that's one of the reasons for our show, is so that people don't. And we try to make everybody in the audience, we try to get to know all of you. But do something nice for a stranger.
Right.
The one thing you can give that will always multiply is love.
Sometimes we forget that when people are being grumpy or mean or do something that you feel is rude, it's because they're trapped in their own trauma and in their world, and they're probably having a really bad day. And it's so easy to take these things personally, but you can totally transform it into something positive. And even if they don't show it, that'll stick with them for the rest of the day, and they may change their behavior a little bit more towards others. There's always a way to transmute something terrible into something of joy or a blessing.
The difference in a glimmer and a trigger. You have to stop letting the triggers work and find the glimmer. They called it COVID. It's just the flu. Yeah, the flu is going around. We were talking about that earlier. How South Carolina's now supposedly got a measles outbreak and a flu outbreak. Shannon's like, "Yep, they just fixing just push another
To,
pokey wokey on you."
yeah, they're pushing to change your legislation, is what they're doing.
Mhm.
And see, this is something that I have observed as being here in California. If I don't know if any of you have, you know, paid attention to the past years of our fight out here with all the sticky pokey stuff. And there are a lot of us out here in California who are very obsessive over health. Okay, it's a thing. Everyone knows LA is like all up and we're going to be organic and healthy. You just have to spend $1 million for it. But, you know, what I've noticed is every time that we try to make, you know, any kind of way into this fight, they find a way to have an outbreak of something. And of course, here in California, they used the mouse guy, and that land to propagate that exponentially when it came to an infant, which was all made up. And all this outbreak stuff, it's just a big part of the way to get people scared to allow this legislation to change. And I know that South Carolina is one of those few last standing like states that have still have protective legislation with your rights when it comes to saying no to sticky pokies, unlike California, where they literally changed everything on us. And especially after the stupid lockdown nonsense, it just got exponentially worse. And so, if you see this in your local area, you see this in your state, and you know that the legislation is in favor of your choice, know that there is a fight coming ahead with you guys. Don't let the fear like hold on to you, and keep fighting for what's right, because that's what they're trying to do by pushing all of that.
Absolutely. Stay aware of what's going on. We're probably gonna let you guys go. We've been on about an hour now. We got on a little bit early tonight, but we are going to be on Shannon's channel, Children of the Most High, Thursday night.
All
If
right,
you
New Year's or the
if
fake New Year.
you do not subscribe currently, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. It matters. It matters more than you'll ever know. And we
I'm
still
gonna,
have a giveaway going on for all new subscribers up until tomorrow night at midnight, right?
yeah, I'm going to actually turn on my camera real quick. Don't laugh at me because I'm bundled up. I'm a wimp to this cold stuff, but I wanted to show you guys the book. It's called The Coming Flood of AI, The Return of the Nephilim Spirits. This is the revised version of the first edition. There's, letters aren't too small. There's lots of illustration. And the most important thing is on every page, there is a little prayer to get closer to Jesus, and it's all scripturally based. Yay! And we absolutely love David Beverly, the author of this book. He's been on our show a few times, and he's just so Holy Spirit filled and so intelligent. He worked for NASA forever and like knows stuff, you know what I mean? Actually got to go to Antarctica. Anyways, I know you're curious. I know you want one of these, so subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera off now.
All right, I was trying to keep up with the comments. Where were we at? Oh, my chat screen went kablooey. Oh, that was Mike. You have a good night too, Mike. We love you, Mike.
We love you.
Yeah, Kay, we are always on here Tuesday night and Thursday night. We run a little bit later show. That Shannon show on Children of the Most High. We pretty much got 5 days a week covered. Because Monday and Friday, you've got the Supernatural show, which is a combination of all of us back and forth. Wednesday, Daniel has a show. Tuesday, I have a show. Thursday, Shannon has a show. 99% of our shows are always live and open to our audience, our viewers, because we like to take the last part of our show to conversate with you, which ends up being 40% of the show. But we love talking with you guys because we're a community here, a family. So like, subscribe, hit your thumbs up. Shannon and I will be back together Thursday night, which is what time is that in your time zone?
That would be 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
I'm making her stay up late.
Well, everybody, be careful if you do intend to go out and celebrate fake New Year's tomorrow night. Be careful. Be careful on the road. Call for a cab or an Uber. Don't take a chance. Because there's somebody out there who needs you here. We need you here. We need all of the light and love and positivity we can get in the world so it'll go and multiply. And we need you here to help us do that.
Don't underestimate celebrating from your couch, because there's
Absolutely.
something magical about being in pajamas and like warm and with coziness, including family coziness. Just throwing it out there. It's
Bring it on
magic.
in together. Because that's one big energy harvesting ritual, in my opinion, tomorrow night at all these places. All
Yep.
right, guys. Well, we've done everything from RH negative to dragons. So I think we've pretty much covered the gambit of all of the crazy rabbit holes we got for tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good night, and we will see you Thursday.